Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm here at the Bridge Alliance Conference, and I tell you what, folks, we have been meeting some great people who are going to really make the change that is necessary to this country. Today, I met somebody that at the table that we were at that really impressed me. His name is David Leaverton. David, it's a pleasure having you on Politics Done Right.
Good to be with you.
Look, let me tell you, what you mentioned on the program was prescient. We're all talking about how to change America.
Yeah.
We're all talking about how to make America better. And the word that you mentioned was we have to start at the foundation. You gave a great explanation about that. Let's give that audience that explanation because it's important.
I think it's easy for us to see the symptomatic problems that we have manifesting in our society and our culture today. But I think we've got to ask the question constantly, how did it get this way? No matter what the problem is, just ask that question, how did it get this way? And that usually has a deeper answer. And what we have found, my family and I, in 2018, we sold our house and quit our jobs and moved our family of five onto an RV and lived in all 50 states over the course of a year. And we explored parts of this nation that we never knew existed.
Right.
And what we found is that the brokenness goes down deep into the foundations of this land. And until we really look truly at the foundations upon which our society has been built, I think all we're doing is just putting new paint on the walls. We've got to do the hard work to go down to the basement and see these cracked foundational pieces of our society and really work on those. Otherwise, I think we're moving the deck chairs on the Titanic.
I've got to digress because I just learned something new about you live on air, and that is that you sold your house and you're living in an RV and you rode around the entire country?
We did in 2018. We lived in one state per week. It was a transformative experience.
I am impressed. Now, first of all, before we go into the foundations, tell me a little bit of what you learned when you met all these people from because that means you met a whole lot of different kind of people.
Yeah. I learned that my worldview was not necessarily the lived experience of everybody else. As growing up as a white landowning male in America, I really saw that this country was who I really believed it was, that it was the land of opportunity where all men are created equal, all men receive equal justice under the law, all people have an opportunity to a great education, employment, equality, and things like that. And what I learned quickly is that wasn't the case. The things that we say as a nation that we believe we are, it does not always work in reality, I found. And that was a paradigm shifting experience for me.
And that's where you came about it being foundational.
Yeah.
Because it's actually at our foundation where these problems really arise.
Yes, I think I just kept, what's the root cause of our political division in America? That's really kind of where I started with it, was this question. What led to the unrest of the 2016 election? I had a background in politics and government before that. And as I started looking into our political divisions, I saw that there was something deeper that was causing those political divisions. And then when I looked at that, I found there was something deeper than that. There was always just these layers to go down to. So I think until we truly address the cause of the problems, we can actually be doing more harm than good with just addressing the symptoms. If I go into the doctor's office with a headache and all you do is give me an Advil to deal with the headache, you might have missed that I had a brain tumor, and you actually might have led to my earlier death. And that's what I think we need to focus on.
That is why I was so impressed with that statement, because that's a perfect analogy that you gave there. You have a headache, they give you an aspirin, okay, yes, he served the problem, but it's an aneurysm that we're looking for, which is how I describe our problem. I'm from another country, and I do describe our problem as being in that state of an aneurysm. And I don't think unless we capture that and solve the problem, start working on a solution now, I think it's dire straits going forward.
Yeah, I think our nation is at a tipping point. I think as I look at this next election coming up, I think it will be the worst election in a generation.
Yes, unfortunately.
What we're facing, seriously, I think the opportunity of, I think civil unrest is a possibility in this coming election. I think we began to see that a little bit in the last election. I think this will be worse. And so I think you have that coupled with a government which is becoming incapable of functioning. So you could have the entire government shut down for months at a time. What happens to society when these structures that we depend upon no longer are there for us? And so I think we're at a very critical point in the future of our nation.
Well, I mean, you are doing the important thing right now. You're at the Bridge Alliance conference where we're trying to put together people from all different ideologies, people from all different thought processes, and see how we can masticate that and put it together. So individually, what are you doing?
Right now, I'm really beginning to go. That last year was a journey of listening and learning. I found that I don't learn a whole lot when I speak,
right.
And so for me, it was really understanding the problem and how I've kind of come to a conclusion right now, which I'll probably get rid of in a month from now. But where I am today is our inability to see the infinite value in one another. And
David Leaverton,
Yeah.
thank you so kindly for the interview.
Thank
That is
you.
wonderful, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, brother.